Hello, 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 and welcome you all to Let's Grow with Yo Yo. It's your girl, Yo Yo, and I am here for part two of the series on colorism. But before we get there, we're going to start with the Did You Know in Black History? Lonnie Johnson, a former, ooh, oh my God, a former, I can't even think Jesus today. I did him. Former Air Force and NASA engineer, Johnson invented what we know today as the Super Soaker water gun. The Super Soaker water gun is the number one selling toy. Johnson, number one selling toy within the country right now. Johnson is president and founder of Johnson Research Development Company. Lonnie Johnson has a BS in mechanical engineer, a MS in nuclear engineer, and a PhD in science from Tuskegee University. Johnson invented the Super Soaker in 1990. Lonnie Johnson also invented the Nerf gun. This is your Did You Know in Black History. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me one second. I don't know what's going on. Ouch. So we are going to talk about this colorism tonight. And tonight we're talking about colorism within the white community. But let me recap from last week. We talked about colorism within the black community. We are our worst enemy, y'all. Our worst enemy when it comes to, I don't want to say racism, but colorism within us. When it comes to light skin, dark skin, in between, you know what we have. So we put up this facade, you're too dark or you're too light, or light skinned people is this and light skinned people is that. Whereas we need to come together and agree that we're just one, no matter your skin tone, right? That was what we talked about, not last week, the week before last. I'm sorry. My internet was out last night. Tonight, we are going to talk about colorism within the white community. Okay? Let me give you the definition of colorism. It is a prejudice or discrimination against individuals of a dark skin tone or lighter skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. So, with that being said, we know that we all, if you're in the African American community, you know about colorism. We talk about each other. We talked about it last week. But did you know that white people, Caucasians, have also colorism in their community? This is what I found out, y'all, and it's crazy to me. If you have blonde hair and blue eyes, you are considered better of the white race. What is that? That's crazy. Blonde hair and blue eyes? Well, if you have brown eyes, red hair, or darker color hair, brown eyes, black eyes, green eyes, you're not really considered white. I thought that was outrageous, right? That was something that I thought, well, they all have the same skin. Just like black people, we may have someone way down our line like they do that had red hair, but their parents, both of their parents may have, one has blonde hair, one has dark hair, and they come out with a red-headed child. Well, that is because genes from generations carry on and they birth a child with red hair. So that makes them less white? No. That's crazy, right? Well, that is part of colorism. And I didn't know that being white, you can do this, right? And let's say you have blonde hair, blue eyes, your parents live in a middle class or a higher class neighborhood compared to the lower classes, let's say the trailer parks or even in the projects, because some white people do live in the projects. Lo and behold, y'all might think so, but they do. So let's say they live in the projects and you have these other blonde-headed, blue-eyed people that live in these other middle class, upper class neighborhoods, do you know they discriminate against them? They call them trash. They call them unworthy to be white. They are not true Caucasians. They are unfit to be in their race. This baffled me. Can you believe that? This baffled me. I could not believe this at all. I could not believe that you would have, just because I have a different hair color of you, or my eyes may be a different color, or I may live in this type of neighborhood, I'm still, well, I'm not, but they are still white. They are still Caucasians. And um, this was, the word Caucasian was first introduced in the 1780s. Now, they weren't considered, Caucasians. They were white. They didn't. That word didn't come out until the 1780s. If you have European, Ireland, or German descent, you were considered immigrants until you were brought into the white family. Can you believe that? This was back in the 1780s, y'all. They didn't consider people from Germany or England. And where did the white people originate from? They came over here. Okay, y'all think about that. All right. So if you came from European descent, Ireland or German, you were not considered a part of the white family. You had to prove yourself. They had to fight to be considered part of the white race. They had to denounce certain things in order to be considered white. They had to go and show that they can be considered American, white. This is out of control, right? And you would think that way back down the line, they had to fight just like we had to fight to be considered Americans. They had to fight to be considered white American, that we all can get along, right? But once they got into the white race, they thought they were uppity. But if you did not have the blonde hair and blue eyes, you still were not considered totally white. You had to prove yourself that you had some blonde hair and blue eyed people in your family too. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel that's a bit much, right? That's a lot for someone of the same ethnic group, same race that I am from, to have to go and prove myself to. So not only is colorism part of the African American community, y'all, it's part of American community. Even Japanese really don't care for Chinese people, right? They're Asian, but they're different ethnicities, or what you want to call it, right? But they're of the Asian descent. And they have discriminate against their own people. So we have to think about this when we are looking and degrading each other as a race. If you're African American, Black, and you see a sister or a brother that has the same complexion as you, or lighter, or even darker than you, embrace them. Let them know that they are not alone. People, that means white, black, blue, green, yellow, purple, whatever color you are, whatever you consider yourself, you're still an American. If you live in America and you're a citizen of the United States, you are American. If you were born here, even if you was naturalized here, you are an American citizen, and your race should not play part of your skin color should not be a factor within your own race. People need to realize not only is there racism, but there's colorism. And colorism, to me, yes, racism is bad and we have to fight, but colorism, to me, is worse. This is just Yomi. This is Yo-Yo. This is me telling you. People within your own race degrading you and putting you down, even in your own family. Because I have people in my family that are light bright, as they say, light bright, daggone near white. Some dark. I'm considered in between, I guess. And I treat all of them the same. Yeah, I used to joke about it a little bit before I researched it and got to know what colorism was. And it's not right. Colorism is not right. Whether you're white, black, Asian, Dominican, whatever. We're all American people and we all should be treated as such. We should not look at a person's skin color within our own race and degrade each other. Whites, and I didn't know this either till I researched it. White people are worse on each other than black people are on each other. They tear each other down. Like, we do some crazy stuff to ourselves, but they will disown their family members. They will tell their kids they're adopted, they ain't from, they're not worthy. This is something that I feel that we need to, as Americans, need to understand. We have the right. We can't choose the skin color we're in. Yes, I heard about bleaching our skin and some people tanning to get darker. You were born with the skin color. You're either African, African American, American, white American, Asian American. You're American. And within your race, you should be able to feel comfortable within that race, ethnic group that you actually belong to. Heck, we're Americans. We all should belong together. But when you have people that sit up here looking down on people down here and calling them, what is it? White trash, unworthy, less intelligent, criminal prone. These are white people talking to other white people. This is not something that I feel Americans should be acting like. However, it's here and we need to address it as such. People, white, black, we're all Americans. We need to understand that just because someone is a brunette, that's darker hair, with green eyes, is just as much as a white person with blonde hair and blue eyes. We have to realize that someone that is of a darker tone and nappier hair than someone's light skin with straight hair, they're still a African American. We are a people. We need to be taught and respected as a people. I was baffled that I didn't realize that you would have colorism within the Caucasian community, especially when they see, when you have a lot of white supremacy out here. I'm not going to say there's a lot of white supremacy out here that feel like their race is the top of the race. So, but if you're degrading your own race and saying that they are less, they're trash, this, that, and the other, we all are in a melting pot. We all should be working together to better each other within our race, to build each other up. I didn't believe that white people can have colorism within their race. But it is there. It is there. And it's at an alarming rate. It was a movie that I seen on Netflix, and I meant to write it down and I did not. And it was a guy who was actually um, a white supremacist. He didn't like black people. But then he had family members who didn't like him because they considered him white trash. It was on Netflix, and I promise you, I put it up on my Facebook page and my site later on when I find it again. And in this show, in this movie, he was so angry with Black America that he did some horrible things to Black people because he was fighting his own white brothers and sisters of not feeling like he was capable of being in their circle, in their race. And he had to prove himself, as in these people back in the 1780s, when they came, they had to prove themselves to be of the white race. This show really brought light to me on, I really wish I knew the name of it, colorism in the white community, because that was a real testament as to what colorism in the white community is. We have to do better, people. For ourselves, our children's children, their children's children, we have to do better. We have to come together and realize that this country, that we are one. We all bleed the same color, red. We all either gonna be put in the ground, cremated, some way, somehow. We all were birthed and we all shall die. And no matter what skin color you are, whether you're Black, white, Asian, Dominican, whatever, you are a human being. And if you are having colorism problems within your race, and you see somebody downing someone who is redhead, brown eyes, blonde, blue eyes, a brunette with green eyes, light skin, dark skin, black, in between, caramel black, stop them. Because at the end of the day, we're people and we still have feelings. And we still have to allow ourselves to understand that we are, we are our people. We have things that we want to project as a unity, and we need to pull it together, because not only are we Americans, we're human beings, and that should be the top priority for everyone. Now, I'm not going to be here any longer. I just wanted to come up here and talk to you all about this colorism within the white community. It's just as bad as the Black community, and I think my computer froze again. But I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. I will not be on next week. I am taking a break next week. But the following week, I will be back and we will be talking about women. Being a Black woman, a white woman, a woman in America today. So I thank you. I appreciate you all for all that you have, for listening, for being here tonight. I am gone. This is your girl Yo-Yo, and y'all have a wonderful night. Be blessed.